Memorial Coliseum. It's Friday Night Heights in the SEC. It's the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington, Kentucky. Hello everyone, welcome in to Lexington, Kentucky Memorial Coliseum. I'm Clay Abels, alongside me Leah Little, former UGA gymnastics coach. Tonight, the Georgia Bulldogs facing off against Kentucky Wildcats. Two completely different programs here, Leah.
I tell you what, the Georgia team is really trying to aspire to that greatness that they once had. Still a great team. This should be a great matchup with Kentucky trying to get to that level. UK ranked 6th in the country right now, Georgia 13th. The teams are pretty evenly matched, so it's going to be a great night.
It should be a great night. We're going to start off with the Kentucky Wildcats here. Alex Highland, who's just had a tremendous year for the Cats.
Alex is really coming on for the Wildcats. I tell you what, she had a great meet last weekend. 39.525 in the all-around, a season high for Alex. Finished first in the vault, first vault title for her, and she is really coming on for the Wildcats.
She will lead Kentucky tonight as we start off with the Wildcats on vault. It'll be Alex Highland will start off, then followed by Katie Stewart, who's also had a tremendous season. And going down for the Wildcats, we'll start off with Highland, who will put us underway here from Lexington, Kentucky.
It's a great leadoff performer for Kentucky. Hopefully she can hit that same vault she did at LSU last weekend. Little hop on that landing, but a great vault.
Last week, the Wildcats 49.125 was their score against LSU in a loss. As we get a second look.
Just that big hop on the landing there, but it was a nice vault. For the fans to understand, if you have 5 gymnast scores that you're counting and every one of them takes a hop, you're losing half a point already. So people don't understand that really is important to your overall total score.
We're going to go over to Georgia with the bars here. Lauren Johnson will lead underway for the Bulldogs.
Georgia has always been a great bar team. What you're really looking for here is those nice handstands, big air on those release moves as she did. Overshoot to hand, good position there. She's going to sit up for a dismount, just a little short of the handstand. Lots of swing here. Double layout, beautiful landing. Good way to start for the Gym Dogs.
She was all SEC last year on the bars as we see the second look.
There's the release again, like we talked. You really want to see the athlete above the bars on the release. And a big, beautiful double layout there.
She averaged a 9.835 last season on bars with Johnson. As we head back over to the Wildcats on vault, as Katie Stewart leads us off. Career high 9.87 against Arkansas. Heading into this one, she's been in every meet this year for the Wildcats.
Kentucky really has the potential to be a good vaulting team. When they stick the landings, they're going to be way up in those 49s. Beautiful Yurchenko full, stuck landing. Cats on a roll.
As we get a second look, this is a really good start for the Wildcats.
Now watch the lift off the horse, off the vaulting table. You want to see some air. Great ball.
We're going to head back over to the bar side here. Nice early start for Kentucky. And now, as we look for the Georgia side, Jordan Peterson will take bars over for the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs having a 197 overall team score last week. As you see, Peterson's pretty solid herself, averaging just under 9.6 on the year.
Well, to be in the hunt for nationals, all of these teams have to get in that 197 level. Both of these teams are capable of doing that. And that's what they're striving for right now. Some of the requirements on bars, they must have a release move. They must move from low bar to high bar. They must show the handstand. Here comes the release move. A little short on the handstand there. She did back-to-back releases. That goes well with the judges. A little awkward there on the switch. And the double front, dismount. That dismount is difficult because it has a blind landing. So we're gonna see that again. There's the release. She's gonna cast handstand again. And here comes that blind landing on the double front dismount. Little cowboy there, and that means the legs are spread wide. The judges will hit her a little bit for that.
Peterson, so impressive, just a sophomore, only exhibition twice last year with a solid performance there at 9.8. We're going to go over to Sydney Dukes, who shared the floor crown at Auburn with a 9.9. Let's see if she can keep up that performance here.
Sydney's been doing great things for Kentucky. Very nice, half out on that vault, stuck. I think she's pretty happy with that.
So we get a second look.
Very nice vault from Sydney. Look at the air off the table and stuck. Oh, little step.
Pretty solid performance.
I think she's happy with that. Coach Garrison's
See the
happy
smile
with
on her
that.
face.
You know, it's great for the home team to start on vault. You kind of get the jitters out and you get to fly a little bit, so defy gravity, so to speak.
Here's Marissa Oakley, freshman, averaging a 9.8 for the Bulldogs. She was really solid in their last win, which is only the 18th this year to get a 197 overall score. Georgia finishing with a 4.93 on bars.
So watch here, those things that we're looking for. Beautiful handstand there. Beautiful release move. As you can see, look at her body line. She's just legs perfectly together, all the way to handstand. Again, another beautiful, perfect handstand. Sitting up the dismount here. Full twisting, double back, stuck. Very, very nice routine. You know, the judges look for that execution, and if you look at everything she does, with beautiful legs together, beautiful handstand, it's going to be a very nice score for the Gym Dogs. Comes the dismount, a full twisting double back to the stick. And there you go.
And here's Dana Davis on vault for Kentucky. She's hit 9.85 3 times so far this year. She hit a career high 9.9 against Maryland back in 2017. That's where they helped with their best team performance for Kentucky with a 9.425 on vault as she flies down there.
The Cats need Danae to hit this one. You saw there, once she left the table, the legs were a little bit bent. The judges are going to take a deduction for that. And a little hop on the landing. So let's watch here, see if we can see that. As she lifts off, legs a little bit separated and bent, little pike down on the landing, little step. So it's not going to be a great score for the Cats.
As we go back to bars, it's going to be Natalia Valku, the senior at 5'2". She only competed twice last year on bars, but it was against Kentucky, and she had a 9.9, her season high. She's just below a 9.8 this year on her average. So her best performance coming against Kentucky. We'll see if she can top it again this year.
Little pause there. You definitely don't want to see the athletes, what I say, camp out on the bars. The bar routine should be dynamic and moving constantly, no pauses, lots of flight above the bar, big air. Here comes a dismount. Another full twisting double back. A little bit of leg separation right before the dismount, but a stick.
A very solid finish as we get.
You see that release move, and that was huge. If you really pay attention there, how high she was above the bar, that's really what you want to see. And the same thing there again. If you look at the high bar and see where she did the flip, which was actually above the bar, that's what the judges want to see.
And Aubrey Rosa, as we head back over to vault for Kentucky, out of Covina, California, had a career high 9.9 on vault against Arkansas a couple matches ago. This is a big opportunity right here for Kentucky with a solid start on the vault to keep things rolling.
They need a big vault here from her. Very nice, very nice. If you watch her execution again, legs together, perfectly straight. Very nice vault for the Wildcats. Let's look at it again here, her approach. Right here, the lift and the landing. Just a tiny little bit there on the landing, but they won't hit but maybe a half a tenth, if anything.
Might have matched that career high right there. That was pretty impressive. As we go back over to bars, it's going to be Sydney Sneed underway, the junior from Raleigh, North Carolina. She was all SEC freshman back in 2016 and had a very solid 2017. You see the sky-high average of 9.87 on bars.
You know, one thing I really want to talk about tonight is, and maybe not so much what you hear on the bars, but just that dynamics, being aggressive, having big air. There you go. Big Tkachev. Again, beautiful, nice straight handstand. Another beautiful handstand. No deductions. Dismount, double layout, just a little bit piked. They won't hit her hard, but she will get a small deduction for that. Big Tkachev, and here comes the dismount. Again, let's watch for that little bit of pike down right there, and a little tiny balance error. Not a big deduction.
In the 6th hole for Kentucky on vault will be Molly Korth. She won all-around vault and bars titles back against Auburn earlier this season. They'll take the top 5 scores in vault, but she'll have a chance to move Kentucky's point total up right now, sitting just below 49 at 48.8.
Again, big vault for Molly here. The Cats are hoping for. Okay, didn't quite finish that rotation. Doing the extra half. You see here she completes the full, now an extra half. Didn't quite have enough air to make it all the way around, just a little short. But she was able to save it and not have the big step or the fall.
Kentucky will finish with a 48.850 on vault to start off this match. As we finish up with bars, it'll be Rachel Dixon for the Georgia Bulldogs. Sophomore coming in with an impressive second-team All-American freshman year.
A little bit loose there on the overshoot. Nothing major. Continuing on. Very nice double layout dismount. Okay, here you see the overshoot to hand, just a little wiggly. And then the dismount, beautiful double layout. That's the way you should do it.
Georgia gets a 49.225 on their opening bar scores as a team. Impressive start for the Bulldogs, just below what they did last week, and a 49.325 in their latest match. But we'll stick over here with the Kentucky Wildcats. Early on so far, Leah, we've seen a very impressive team from both sides.
Right, and you know, we talked about this early on this season that if Kentucky was going to stay in the hunt, they've got to stick those vaults. They're a very good vaulting team, but they just haven't been able to be consistent on all 5 athletes making those landings. Once they do, they're going to be well into the 49s.
We mentioned in the pregame, we talked about just how things work in terms of programs and whatnot. And it's been a very impressive start. We'll get to that after the break. The difference between 2 programs, it's Kentucky versus Georgia here, bars versus vault, opening done, rotation 1 down. We'll be right back with Friday Night Heights on the SEC Network. Bars, and on vault will be Georgia, as we see head coach Tim Garrison for Kentucky down there in his 6th season for the Wildcats, having a heck of a start. As we go back a little bit and look at the first rotation, a good start on vault from Kentucky, especially from Katie Stewart.
You're going to see Katie here, good lift off the table, nice clean execution on the full twist and a stuck landing. So that's exactly what the judges are looking for.
As we look back at the scores from the opening rotation, Kentucky finishing with a 48.975. Pretty solid start, just below that 49.125 coming in off the match against LSU. As we go back and look at Georgia's opening rotation, they started off on the bars. Marissa Oakley was very strong.
Well, we mentioned dynamics and execution. All of her release moves, very well done. Almost perfect execution in this routine. Beautiful height above the bar, stuck landing. Great score and a great routine from Marissa.
And Georgia finished with a 49.25 on the bars to open up. So it was a very solid start from both sides. We'll get to the second rotation back here from Memorial Coliseum. It's Friday Night Heights in the SEC. 25 on the bars. Kentucky with a solid 48.9 on the vault. And the Bulldogs will move over to the vault this time. It'll be Sabrina Vega will lead the way for the Georgia Bulldogs, excuse me.
She had a great vault last week. Very nice. Now, the mistakes you see there, she piked down, had great air time, but she piked it down and took a hop on the landing, so that's going to cost her. So right here, as she lifts off, a little pike down, and then the hop, that's going to cost her. She was a little crooked on her flight onto the table, and that's kind of caused her problems.
As we're going to go to Kentucky, they're on the bar side this time. Katie Carla will start the way for the Wildcats. She competed in every meet last season.
Now you hear us talk a lot about start value. A lot of people don't understand that. You can't get a 10 if your routine doesn't start from a 10. So how does the athlete get to a 10? It's by bonus elements and connections. So we'll kind of talk about some of those as we go. Katie here's winding up for the dismount, full twisting, double back, way to start off for the Wildcats.
Kentucky needs that kind of start in a match like this going against such a solid Georgia team.
Well, she opens with a blind change Jaeger. A hard combination, she gets 2/10 bonus for that, and she gets 2/10 bonus for the full twisting dismount. So those are the things we were talking about. And you saw way above the bar, and a stuck landing.
So we go back to the Bulldog side of things. Marissa Oakley opened very strong on the bars, and she'll move over to the vault side of things and continue the strong start for Georgia. Georgia with a 49.1 team score in vault in their last match, as Oakley waits patiently to start off.
You keep hearing us talk about that as well. The 49 is kind of the magic score in all of these events. You know, you're not really in the running if you don't get in that 49 level. You need to really have that in all events, 49 plus, to get in there with the upper echelon in the country. Yurchenko full. Again, I'd like to see a little bit better position with that. Well, let's watch it again with the approach, lift, and a little hop there. Nice vault, little hop. Really looked a lot better in slow-mo, so I think she'll score well.
Freshman Ella Warren to get on the way for the Wildcats. So career high 9.875.
That was her release move with her 2/10 bonus. Nice handstand position and the overshoot. She gets a 10th bonus for that. A little short handstand there. Double layout. A little bit of a pike down. She tried to cheat that landing so the judges didn't see, but there was a little hop there. Overall, a nice routine. Beautiful above the bar, release move. And again, let's watch for when she comes off that bar, how high above the bar is she? Almost a stick. She covered it well.
As we go back to vault, a scoring change here from the judges. We look, Georgia was a 49.250 to open off on bars. They switched that to a 49.225, a slight difference here that we got after the start of the second rotation. Not a big difference, but does make a little bit of an impact on the match.
Well, believe it or not, I've seen national championships won by or lost by 1/10 of a point, so it does make a big difference.
I would say so.
Even hundreds of a point. I've seen teams lose by .025. Here's Georgia's next vault. Look for the lift. Another Yurchenko full. Again, I'd just like to see these vaults lift off the table a little more. Right here. The vault should really rise, and that's what the judges like to score well. But it's a nice position, good vault, nice landing. Should score well.
As we go back over to the bar side for Kentucky, it's been Corey Rechmar, who's had a very good start to this year for the Wildcats. Third in the rotation for UK.
Corey to open up with her blind change Jaeger. Oh.
tough break.
Oh, too bad for the Cats. You know, she's missed that a couple of times this year, and that's just out of character for her. She hits her bar. She has a great bar routine. So disappointing for the Wildcats. If you see what happened, just a little bit away from the bar on the release, not close enough to grab. Just need to wait a little bit longer as that rises up before you release from the bar.
When you have a situation like this where you fall, I mean, how do you mentally get yourself back in the mindset to finish off the rotation?
Well, you know, they count 5 scores, so if somebody else falls, they're going to count 1 or 2 of those routines. So you've got to finish strong so that the routine that does count is worthy. She just did a very nice Stalter double tuck dismount. Let's look at the dismount here. Nice double tuck, light step. Disappointing there for the Cats. I know they count on Corey.
It's a tough break for Corey to start off. We're going to go back over to the Georgia side as they will go on vault. This will be Lauren Johnson, who, as we saw early on, lead the way in bars with a very solid 9.85.
Here's the approach, the lift, the full, and the stuck. Very, very nice vault.
A little bit of celebration afterwards,
a little dance party there. So watch this on the replay, what we were talking about earlier. Now watch the vault rise from the table there. That's what we're looking for. Nice full, little bit of a pike down, but very nice vault for the gym dogs rocking out.
It's a Georgia program so storied, and they're really turning into mid-season form. Mentioned an impressive job last week with a 197. They're having a very strong start today as Kentucky tries to respond on the bar side. Katrina Coca will lead the things underway in the 4 spot for UK.
So you talked about the fall from Corey earlier. You can kind of see on Katrina's face, it puts a little more pressure on the other guys once there's been a fall, because the rest of them know they have to hit their routines. So let's see what Kat does here. So her blind change Jaeger, beautiful height above the bar. Nice handstand, overshoot. 10th bonus on that skill. Little boo-boo there, just tiny boo-boo. And here we go again. Her bonus on her dismount. Full twisting, but double back. A little bit of balance error there on the landing, but when you watch the replay here, you can really see that dismount. There's the Jaeger way above the bar, beautiful. Now watch here, look at the high bar and watch when she releases how high above the bar she is. So just a little balance error there on the dismount, but good routine for Katrina.
Katrina's been very good on the year. She's won 2 bars titles going back to the Auburn, where she had a 9.9. As we go back over to Georgia side, Sydney Sneed, who's on the bars team early on, will head over to vault. Sneed with a 9.9 over on the open.
Another Yurchenko full, beautifully done. Again, she just said, wow, she knew it was good. So we watch this again on the replay for the young gymnast watching this. Watch her go up, beautiful execution, legs together, very nice vault, perfect landing. This is going to be a really good score for the gym dogs. That's the way it's done.
Solid move there for Georgia as Kentucky will go back to their side. Alex Highland, SEC champion on vault, will head over to bars. Very strong in there as well with a 9.8 average.
We talked about Alex earlier. She's really coming on for Kentucky as one of their top performers. She just keeps getting better, just a sophomore. It was her release move. Again, overshoot, a little loose. Once you get a little loose like that, you kind of have to recover, get everything back to center again and tighten up. And she did that.
That was a strong finish.
Strong finish. You saw that little wiggle there, but very nice giant full to Ginger release move. And again, here comes the dismount, full twisting double back. She's happy. And like we said, the last 2 athletes for Kentucky have picked up the pace. We need Molly to finish strong for them here, and they'll have a good bar rotation.
Molly Korth will be on the bars for Kentucky. As mentioned earlier, all-around vault and balls and bars title at Auburn. And she took the same home all-around vault title versus Florida. SEC Freshman of the Year in 2017. And with a chance here to give Kentucky a little bit of a closer reach against Georgia.
Let's look at that. Yurchenko full from Georgia again. It was just a beautiful vault, almost perfect execution. Oh, sorry.
As we look at the scores, you talk about just a strong performance right there. 9.6 all the way down up to a 9.85. And Lauren Johnson, leading the way with a 9.9. Georgia was very strong.
Molly came in mid-year for the Cats last year and just took this program up a notch, and she's continuing on that. Beautiful Pike Jaeger there. You know, you got to have that one athlete that sets the pace for everybody else, and I think Molly does that for the Cats. It's like, hey, I'm jumping out there, you guys follow me. Here comes the dismount. Beautiful. Full twisting double layout.
Get the Tim Garrison fist pump afterwards, too. Very excited about that.
Okay, so we talked about that start value. This is a 2/10 bonus connection there. The overshoot, another 10th bonus, and then the dismount, another 2/10 bonus, and believe it, that's a 10-0 start value.
Maybe the best performance we've seen so far. Incredible job there from Molly Korth, finishing very strong on the bars for the Kentucky Wildcats.
I'll give you a little factoid here for the fans. A lot of these release moves have these very strange, weird names. People kind of wonder, why did you call it that? Where did it come from? The first athlete to perform the skill in international competition, the skill gets named after them at that point. So most of them back in the day used to be Russian or Chinese or Romanian. So Sukahara is obviously not an American gymnast.
That's why it sounds like a foreign language when you're going through the skill sets here.
That's right. So all of those release moves have names from somebody that did them the first time. So this is Haley. Beautiful ginger above the bar. Is that overshoot the hand? Little loose, little leg separation. Judges will hit her about a 10th for that. Little short handstand. That'll be another 10th probably. And then the nice dismount and stuff.
Kentucky's doing a really good job here on the bars of finishing strong.
I tell you, after that fall from Corey, they have really picked up the pace, and the other girls know that they had to perform, and they sure came through for Kentucky.
So Kentucky finishing strong on the bars here, and we're through rotation 2. We'll be coming back with rotation 3. Kentucky on the beams, Georgia on the floor. It's Friday Night Heights on the SEC Network. We'll be right back from Lexington. Back in Lexington, Kentucky, alongside me, Leah Little. I'm Clay Abels. We'll take a look back at rotation 2 here, starting with the Kentucky Wildcats on the bars. Solid job, especially from Molly Korth.
Molly, again, that's their go-to girl that gets it done. So Molly had a great bar routine here for Kentucky. You see her winding up the dismount here, full twisting, double layout, stuck. That's the way to get it done.
And you look back at the scores on bars, a very impressive job from the Wildcats. We had one slip up from Corey Retchenmar there with a fall, but outside of that, Kentucky get to drop that score and have a very strong finish in the vaults category. As we go over to Georgia's side, they were on the bars and did pretty impressively themselves. As we look back on Lauren Johnson and what she was able to do.
Again, watch the vault lift off the table. Very, very nice.
Post-game celebration right there for Johnson. Excited with her performance and happy to be with a 9.9. She led the way for the Gym Dogs, and a very good overall vault for Georgia. We'll be right back with rotation 3. Kentucky will be on the beam, Georgia on the floor. Halfway through in Lexington, Kentucky, we'll be back with rotation number 3 and Friday Night Heights. Friday Night Heights here in Lexington, Kentucky, especially the youngsters, as we have Kentucky versus Georgia in a dead heat early on here. About to start rotation 3. Leah Little alongside me. I'm Clay Abels. The overall scores as we get ready to start off on the floor, or the beam, with Kentucky. Georgia up 98.125 team against Kentucky's 98 flat, so it's very tight here throughout the first 2.
We said in the beginning that both of these teams were very close, and you know, Kentucky here, they got the big 3 going for them, which is the fearsome threesome. Korth, Dukes, and Highland up on the beam. to really put this Kentucky team ahead. It's close. Now we talk about, I explained to somebody the other day, sometimes a routine can look perfect to the fan, but there are requirements on every piece of apparatus. So if an athlete misses that requirement, if they're not judged to the actual level of the skill, then the routine can look perfect to the fan, but to the judges it was not perfect, and they're going to take those deductions. So we just try to explain that as we go along. Flight series, little balance error there. Again, we talked about dynamics on the bars, and people think balance beam can't be that way, but balance beam should be that way. I love that skill. Very unusual and unique. Another thing the judges look for, originality. Nice dismount combination, 3-element series. And a stuck routine for Kentucky. Let's look at it again. This is her leap series. She did a ring jump. That's a bonus connection there. This is the acro flight series. Little balance error there. It'll cost her a couple of tenths. And the 3-element dismount series. Good start for the Cats.
On beam, you look at Stewart, a 9.875 average. She did a very solid job to start off for Kentucky there. As we head down to the floor for the Georgia Bulldogs, Jasmine Arnold will start underway. SEC winter honor roll member.
Gymnasts typically are very smart and very good academic athletes. They're very disciplined and have been from an early age, so school is just part of what they do. Gymnastics and school, that's kind of all they've known.
It's very interesting, too, because she did not get to compete in any meets last year, so it's a big opportunity for her to start off.
Nice double pike openings. Again, the judges want to see these girls really perform. This is a performance. It's entertainment. They can really show their personalities and get the crowd involved, and the fans just love floor exercise. Second tumbling pass here. Another double back, this one in a tuck position. Beautiful leap series. Hey. You can do that, right, Clay?
I'd be out for a week. I wouldn't be able to do this
A week?
meet. Yeah, more like a month.
All right, she's going to get the crowd into it now. It's so great now because, you know, many, many years ago, back in the beginning of gymnastics, there was a piano player that sat on the side of the floor and played piano, and the girls did gymnastics. And then it went to instrumental, but you couldn't have any, it was very classical type of thing. And now these girls are doing hip hop and rock.
You got a DJ on the side. It's almost like a party.
Hey, it might come to that.
What a job from Jasmine Arnold.
Let's look at her tumbling pass here again. She's opening with a double pike. Big air time, nice position, good landing. Second pass, double tuck. Again, good finish.
As we go back over to the beam, back to the fearsome threesome for Kentucky, it'll be Molly Korth, who's had a heck of a start to this day. What a job she did on bars, and see if she can carry that over to the beam.
You notice the background music, the girls are allowed to kind of dance the music they enjoy up there and show their personalities. Helps them relax a little bit. You know, it's fun to see these young ladies mature as athletes, and Molly coming in mid-year last year as a new freshman for the Cats, and having a year under her belt now of competition, she's really starting to shine.
I really enjoyed the music selection, too, going Tom Petty in the background.
Little dedication there. A little balance. Well, actually, it was a big balance error. The judges look at balance errors in like increments. It was a 1, it was a 2, it was a 3. And that was a pretty good one. She's going to get a deduction for that. The athletes need to work the whole balance beam. Both directions, underneath. She missed her footing there a little bit on the dismount, but she was able to pull it out and finish.
As Korth finishes up, look back on the second. I mean, just
Here's
solid.
One arm back handspring to layout. Bonus on that, of course. Switch leap, back tuck. If you notice, there's a little bit of a hesitation between the switch leap and the back tuck. Judges are a little subjective on whether they deduct for that or not, but I would have taken a little deduction there, and that kind of caused the balance error.
Of course, such a solid player. As we go over to Vivi Babalis, will lead underway on the floor for Georgia.
A little problem there on the landing coming out of the double tuck. Second pass coming. Front full, front full. You know, the Gym Dogs are coached by their once famous and great Courtney Capetz Carter now.
First season.
She's one of the all-time great gymnasts of the NCAA, so I'm sure she's going to bring that expertise to her team and get them back to that level. Gym Dogs have won 10 national championships under Suzanne Yocklin, and they're trying to get the program back to that level.
You see in the background, she is in attendance here today for Georgia.
Yes, Coach Yocklin is on the staff as a volunteer coach now. Nice double pike landing. Good finish. You know, I saw an interesting stat last week that Kentucky and Georgia gymnasts hold 3 of the top 10 all-around scores ever in the NCAA.
That's
the
unbelievable.
great Courtney Capetz, that's their coach now. Jenny Hansen from Kentucky. And the other one slips my
Third
mind
one slipping
right
away. That's pretty impressive,
Another
though.
Georgia gymnast.
That's unbelievable.
I'm sorry, Karen Lichty, the great
There you
Karen
go, the
Lichty.
trifecta.
Right. So between Georgia and Kentucky, they hold 3 of those top 10 spots all time. Greatest all-arounders.
Such great tradition between these two teams. You mentioned a 10-time champion in Georgia and Kentucky, starting to come really far in their program with head coach Tim Garrison.
Coach Garrison has really taken this program up a notch to another level. They're having best crowds they've ever had. They're having one of the maybe the best season they've ever had, and hopefully can take this team on to the next level and can compete at the national championship. 3-element flight series there, and her blue lipstick is her lucky charm.
Haley Poland, a nice side note there. The blue lipstick, the lucky charm.
That's right. And if you watch Haley, she has a wonderful extension and wonderful dance moves. See how she's really performing the balance beam. I always explain to the girls, you can't look scared up there. You have to get after it, be aggressive, be dynamic, act like you're on the floor. And she really does this. She has great extension. Little balance error there. Uh-oh. If you notice, we go back and watch this replay, you focus on her ankles. She kind of lost that tightness in her ankles, which caused her that little mistake. Gainer dismount. Lucky lips. She stayed on.
Went all the way through there with the Vanilla Ice in the background. It's an interesting music choice as we get a second
Let's
look.
watch this, see if we can catch this here. Okay, just see how she rolled her ankle over there on that landing and then rolled that again, and that's what caused that little problem. Got to stay on that high toe and keep those ankles tight. Gainer dismount.
As we head down to the floor, back for Georgia will be Sydney Sneed, who's been in every competition early on here. Very solid floor average.
Sydney getting ready for her first pass here. Very nice gymnast. She has really beautiful lines. Double tuck. You can see the girls always come out smiling if they hit that first tumbling pass. There's her leap connection. And there again for the fans, sometimes those full twisting leaps and turns, if they're not all the way around, the judges can deduct for that as not being a complete element. So therefore it would devalue that series and they wouldn't get the bonus. So that's why sometimes it looks good, but to the judges it's really not.
That makes a big difference in a meet like this.
Beautiful. She has some nice originality in her dance. If you notice on that leap series, she was dragging her back leg a little bit, wasn't quite to the split. The judges will deduct for that. I love watching her dance. She really has great extension and presence. Comes the last pass. Double pike. She managed to keep that inbounds. Great job.
And Snead finishing very strong. She's got a heck of an athletic background with her dad playing Blaney in the Reds organization. She certainly has the athleticism right there with that incredible flip.
Right, that's whip to a double tuck. Nice combo. Front full, Shushinova. I'm ready to see you do that one too. Finish with a double pike, keeps it inbounds. Nice routine for the Gym Dogs. Elena up on beam.
Inquana getting her first opportunity out there today. Great performance against LSU last week with a 9.85.
The full turn, which is a requirement on the beam. Getting ready for her acro flight series. Another requirement. Like handspring layout. She was, if you watch, when we watched the replay, she was crooked on the back handspring before she did the layout, and therefore it made the layout crooked, which caused the fall. So those little tiny things. Switch sleep ring leap. That's a very difficult dance move. A lot of people don't appreciate that, but you have your head all the way back, touching your foot. You can't see the beam or the landing, so that's why it has the bonus level that it does. Again, once you've had that fall, pressure's on, not only that athlete, but the ones that follow her. Cat leap, side aerial, full twisting tuck. 3-element combo on the dismount gives her a bonus of 2/10.
A tough start, but finishing very strong for the Wildcats there. As we see, there's the first.
Now let's watch this. Watch her feet as she lands. The one foot is crooked out of the flip-flop, which caused the layout to be crooked, which, you know, it's kind of a domino effect when you do the multi-element series.
As we go back to the floor for Georgia, will be Rachel Dixon starting things underway.
We talked about dynamics. We talked about presence. You can tell right away from the opening she's getting the attention of the judges because you can tell this is going to be a dynamic routine. And yes, it was.
She looks to be their best so far.
Yeah, struggled a little bit on that landing, but difficulty in the series itself. I always tell the young ladies, you know, get the judges' attention right off the bat and get them excited about your routine. She's sitting up for a second pass now. You can see the concentration on her face. Full front layout. Okay, let's get the crowd into it now. You know, we talked about the old days, back in the early beginnings of the sport where they were more like ballerinas on the floor, and now they just can really get out there and have some personality and get the crowd invested in the routines.
She has great floor presence we see so far.
One part of their conditioning is that they condition enough to where their last pass is just as good as their first pass, and that sure was. All right, let's look at these tumbling passes again. She opens with Arabian double front. Just turned a little early on that instead of coming over the top, but very difficult tumbling pass. Front full, front layout, second pass, and then finish strong with the double tuck. Perfectly done.
As we head over to beams, it'll be Sydney Dukes, 6 event wins in her career on beam. Very solid performer.
Well, this young lady, I'll tell you what, she's got a smile that can light up a room. I love watching her perform. She's just so happy all the time. She really gets her teammates excited and happy and up for the competition. Beautiful flight series there by Sydney. You can see her, she's already smiling. She's just Miss Sunshine, I think. Oh, no. Oh, another fall for Kentucky.
Right at the point of the match where you can't afford
a little
this.
crooked, again, coming out of that. Repeat the element. She'll recover. Beautiful. Ring leap there again. Very difficult skill, as I said. The head goes back. It's a blind landing, so that's why it has bonus. Okay, a little disappointed there for Sydney and the Cats. Got to pick it up here with the next routine. Let's watch the dismount again. Play out 1.5. Little step on the landing there. Okay, the Cats are going to have to make up some ground now to catch the Gym Dogs.
Gym Dogs have a chance to push this lead out here on the floor. It'll be Sabrina Vega, one of their top performers.
You know, one thing great watching the Georgia team here, they're very relaxed and dancing and having fun. And, you know, that's why all these kids got into gymnastics in the first place. It's a fun sport. You know, they were flipping off the couch at home and doing crazy things. And the parents said, get them into gymnastics.
You make it to this level, it's unbelievable.
Absolutely. The kids are having fun and enjoying themselves, are going to perform better. Double pike. She's having fun. She warmed up her dance on the vault.
That confidence is spewing over here onto the floor.
Here comes up. Next pass. Full front layout. Very nicely done. Again, to the fans, a lot of the dance combinations have just as much difficulty as the tumbling passes, and the fans sometimes don't appreciate that. They see the big tumbling and think, whoa, but sometimes those dance passes are just as hard. She just did a full twisting switch leap, which is extremely difficult. To get it all the way around and get full credit for that. It's very, very nicely done. She's working it now. She's a charmer. All right, last pass. Double tuck. A little short on that landing, but overall just a very nice routine. Let's look at that first pass again. Look at the amplitude on the tumbling. Double pike. Stuck. Now let's look at this dance leap we talked about. Full twisting, switch, well, that was a ring leap to the full twisting. Again, a combination. A little short on the split there on the full, but overall just a very nice routine.
As we go back over the beam, it'll be Alex Highland going to the beat of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song will be the intro.
Alex likes to work it. She is the defending Southeastern Conference balance beam champion. This is her baby. Switch leap. Split jump. She likes to see if she can get the crowd into it. And you know what? If you can get the crowd into your beam routine, you have accomplished something. So like I say, you have to dance, perform, be excited, be aggressive, be dynamic, and yes, the crowd will get into it. Beautiful combination there. You saw the forward switch leap combination, then she went backward into her acro series without stopping. Very difficult. So we talked about going down on the balance beam and using all aspects of the beam, both high and low. She's singing. Cat leap, side aerial, full twist, nice combination. She's happy. So there's your SEC beam champ right there.
Say 13 wins in her career she's had. She could Good chance of making it 14 after that performance.
Right, and you know, we talked about the SEC. 10 of the last 11 national champions are Southeastern Conference teams, so it is a tough league to perform from top to bottom.
Such a strong performance there from Highland, the leader so far for this Kentucky team.
And we're going to watch an exhibition routine here, and sometimes people don't understand that. Having that exhibition routine allows the coach to look at an athlete who hasn't competed yet. Ella here, for example, came in January, just like Molly did last year for Kentucky. So she doesn't have a lot of collegiate competitive experience, so Coach Garrison's going to put her up there as an exhibition routine, see what she does, and see if she can get her spot in the lineup next week.
As we look back at the results from Georgia, solid all the way around. Nobody below a 9.8 in their top 5. A very good job on the floor for the Gym Dogs.
Georgia had some great routines on the floor. Kentucky, unfortunately, made mistakes on the beam, and that's going to cost them dearly. They got a lot of catching up to do when they come to floor.
Warren worked earlier on the bars with a 9.75 as she goes for the exhibition on the beam.
Ella's a seasoned competitor, and I think just like Molly, she's going to bring a lot to this Kentucky team. She just needs to get some experience. You know, a lot of the age group athletes, when they come to college, aren't used to the big crowds, the noise, the excitement. So it's a learning process. Sitting up her side aerial, back handspring, a little crooked there coming out of that, but that's fixable. Little trouble on her leap series there. Switch leap combination is bonus. You saw the first leap was really big. Second leap she held back. It wasn't quite as high or as large as the first leap she did, and that caused the balance mistake. Again, once she gets some competition under her belt, 4.5 dismount, she'll be fine.
So a great job in the exhibition there from Ella Warren.
Yeah, we'll see more of her down the road.
That'll finish off the beam rotation. As we see Kentucky finishing up on the beam, Georgia on the floor. We're going to the 4th rotation here for Lexington, Kentucky. The Wildcats will be on the floor, and Georgia finishes up on the beam. We'll be right. I'll see him. It's Friday Night Heights. Leah Little alongside me. I'm Clay Abels. We'll take a look back at rotation 3. Kentucky on the beams. It was Alex Highland with a nice performance.
We're going to take a look at Alex here again and why she's the SEC beam champion. Front aerial, back handspring, back layout. Very difficult combination. Forward to backward, cat leap, side aerial, full twisting dismount. Again, multiple element combinations give her bonus, which gives her a bigger start value.
You see Kentucky scores right there. Pretty solid overall throughout. A couple mistakes on the beam, but with a 48.275 total team score. For the Gym Dogs, they were on the floor and were very strong in their opening performance, especially Sydney Sneed.
We talk about her and how full extension, her presence on the floor. You notice she only did 2 tumbling passes, and the fans want to know why. Well, she has enough bonus elements in her dance move to cover for not having to have a 3rd tumbling pass. But she's a very beautiful gymnast, beautiful lines, great dance, a lot of presence.
Sneed led the way with a 9.9 overall. Georgia coming up with a 49.125 overall team score. So a very good job from the Gym Dogs and Kentucky as well on the beam. We'll be right back with the 4th and final rotation. Kentucky to the floor, Georgia to the beam. We'll be right back with Friday Night Heights on the SEC Network. This is Kentucky. Leah Little alongside me. I'm Clay Abels. It's the Georgia Gym Dogs versus the Kentucky Wildcats. As we head into the final rotation here, Georgia with a 147.25 score, Kentucky with a 146.275. So it's very tight here going into this 4th rotation. And we'll start off with the Gym Dogs on the beam. It'll be Sydney Sneed. We saw what a great job she just did on the floor. A chance to carry it over.
The things that we discussed, Clay, on the floor with Sydney, her beautiful lines, her beautiful dance, probably that's going to carry over to the beam routine, and you'll see those same things from her. Let's see if we see the dynamic routine on beam that we did on floor. Beautiful. The first series coming up here. Back handspring layout, back handspring, 3-element acro series, very difficult, beautifully done. You know, you want your strong performers to lead off on beam to set the pace for the rest of the team. Beautiful. Switch sleeve back tuck. Very strong so far. You definitely want that confident athlete to lead off your team and set the pace. Punch front. Major balance mistake there. Otherwise, she's doing great. The dismount, round off, double full. Very nice routine except for that one major balance mistake, but a good way to start off for the gym dogs. Let's look at that again. Back handspring, layout, back handspring. And there's the front tuck with the balance error and the dismount, double twist. Very nice with City. Katie Stewart leading off the Cats, and they got a lot of ground to make up, Clay.
No doubt about it. Stewart's been one of their top performers, though, earlier on, 9.85 on the vault. And she also did very well on the beam at a 9.8. This is a big performance right here for Kentucky. They need to start off strong in this fourth rotation.
Well, the home team loves the floor. They'll get the crowd into it. Kentucky really needs strong performances from everybody after those falls on beam. Great double pike to open for the Cats. Katie's going to get them started here. Oh, she's liking it. Everybody loves performing in front of the home crowd. Full front layout. Almost stepped out, but she saved it. Great choice of music here, a little Ed Sheeran and getting the crowd into it. Switch ring. One thing you can really notice on the athletes, when they do their dance moves, they really need to have great execution and to be tight and extended, just like a dancer. Sometimes girls get a little loose, a little wobbly, which makes them have those balance errors. You start from an early age training that center and that core. I say gymnasts knew about core a long time ago before other people finally figured it out. But it's the
Katie Stewart, what a solid job she did. That's the strong performance Kentucky needs to start off with.
front full, front layout. She saved it. It's kind of like those football players stepping out on the line. The girls are kind of trying to stay in there.
So here's Marissa Oakley, who led the way for Georgia earlier with a 9.9 on bars. She heads over to the beam. Second in the rotation for the Gym Dogs.
Marissa mounting the beam, very nice. And she's on that down on the beam position we talked about earlier. Full wolf turn. It's hard to do a full turn in that position that she did. Switch sleep, ring jump, nice combination. Okay, entry back layout. Cat leap, front aerial. Then, oh, she saved it.
That was impressive.
You know, sometimes you're excited they saved it and stayed on, but sometimes the judges will take almost as much as a fall for all those steps and balance errors that she had. Dana dismount off the side. Well, let's look and see what caused the problem there. She's coming out with the front aerial. She's a little off to the right, didn't keep those shoulders up, and she's trying to save it. But all those balance errors are going to cost her deductions from the judges. Here's the gainer layout, full off the side.
So here comes Haley Poland. You see her average on the floor. She did a great job on beam over just a few moments ago for Kentucky.
Haley's a performer. She loves getting the crowd into it. And front pass here. Front tuck, Rudy. Again, the balance error on the landing. She's turning it on now. Again, we said on bars, we're going to talk about dynamics. You can see how she's very aggressive in her dance. You know, when the young ladies are very young, it's a process of teaching them to really perform their routines and not just do them, but to actually execute with a little short on that, but it won't be much of a deduction. There's the dance combination we talked about, very nice, bonus for her. Now she's turning it on. I just love to watch her dance. She just really gets into it. Her extension and expression. I love this combination here. If you notice, she does this and then she does the rewind. And here she goes. Gonna take it back.
That was strong.
Great dance. And we talked about original. She does that one little combo on the floor where she goes one direction and then she rewinds it back. So very nicely done.
So Haley Poland, one of the top performers for Kentucky throughout this meet, deserving a lot of credit for what she's done for the Wildcats so far today as we get a second look.
All right, this is that opening pass. Combination. Front tuck, step out to the Rudy. Just a little bit step out. Gym Dog's back on the beam.
Here's Haley Sanders with her first entry into the meet. A senior from Spring Creek Academy out of McKinney, Texas.
And we talked about beam being the great equalizer, which it is. You know, Georgia had a big lead here. They've already had one fall on beam. They got to keep it together so that the Gym Cats don't close the gap on them. Front tuck on the beam. No problem on the landing there. You got to be confident on the beam. You got to work the beam and look confident. If you notice, her facials are kind of showing the judges that she's a little bit nervous up there. Don't want to give off that impression to the judges. Nice dismount with the full.
Tough position for Sanders as we get a second look. Coming in cold, not being in one rotation thus far, coming in right in the fourth spot with pressure on. That's a tough spot to be at.
You know, Coach Coupette's Carter from Georgia is a new mom. She's got a brand new baby. There's the layout combination. Here's Ella.
Saw her on the exhibition just moments ago.
This is a new addition
Yeah,
to the gymnastics team as of January, as we talked about earlier. See what she can bring in on the floor for Kentucky.
She was just added to the lineup right before the start of the fourth rotation.
Very dynamic floor routine. You can tell by the music. Ella is out of Jacksonville, Florida. Another tumbling pass from Ella. Very nice. I'm sure Molly Korth is going to be able to help her along as to what it was like to coming in mid-year and then being able to be a performer for the team. Nice last pass for Ella. Nice finish.
So the late substitution paying off for Kentucky. Ella Warren with a great performance here in this fourth rotation.
Watch here. Front full and a half. And then again. Full front layout. Nicely done. It's great to have those upperclassmen being able to mentor your young athletes. Kentucky had no seniors last year, so Molly, the freshman, coming in and mentoring the new freshmen.
Here's Vivi Balvis over on the beam for Georgia, 9.85 just off the floor. She's got a pretty good average as well, right around that on the beam. And Georgia needing a little bit of a pickup here. They want to hold on to this lead late in this fourth rotation.
Yeah, we talked about that, how the pressure becomes more intense, once there's been some mistakes from the earlier athletes. Maybe front aerial, back layout, nice combination. Switch sleep, split jump, back tuck combination, beautifully done. You can see there were no pauses in between those three connections of those three elements. If there is a pause, the athletes do not get credit for the combination. Another acro element, front pike. I encourage those young gymnasts watching this broadcast to, when you're practicing beam, to just try to make it look like your floor routine. Be dynamic, have a lot of presentation, dance. Don't hold back. Nice routine.
Just what the gym dogs needed in this fourth rotation. Balvis coming in very strong.
Look at that leap, switch leap, switch jump, back tuck. Great combination. She'll get bonus for those three elements. Front pike combination, or sorry, wasn't.
Next on floor, for Kentucky,
And the full.
Alex Highland.
Teammates are happy with that.
And the star of the show here for the Kentucky Gym Cats, Alex Highland, who's been in every position today for Kentucky and come through strong on all rotations. Doing a great performance here in the fourth rotation.
All right, so we got the fearsome threesome, the last three up for Kentucky. Double pike for Alex, stuck landing. Now she can turn it on. Now she had a very nice dance combination that will give her bonus there on the floor. But a little balance there on the landing. But it was not easy combination. So here's the rewind we were talking about earlier. Here it goes. Rewind. Back she goes. All right. Getting ready for that tumbling pass again. Full front layout, nicely done.
That's a statement.
There you go. Cats on a roll.
Alex Highland coming in big time for the Gym Cats.
Let's take a look at that pass again. She's working it there. Double pike. Very nicely done. Full front layout, again, very nicely done. Great routine.
As we head back to the beam, will be Rachel Dixon, a 9.85 on the floor, a little bit below that on the beam, but she needs to come through here for the Gym Dogs.
Again, just a tiny balance error there between the connections. The judges are probably going to take that. Sometimes they're a little lenient depending on the difficulty of the combination. Getting ready for our next series here. Back handspring bout layout, perfectly done. Nice sleep combination. Very nice dismount combination. You know, I always thought it'd be nice if they could do beam to music like they do floor. Probably be a little more fun, less intense.
She had it strongly there. Georgia answering the call right now against the Gym Cats.
Back handspring layout, perfectly done.
As we go back to the floor, it'll be Molly Korth. You mentioned that fearsome threesome. She's in that for Kentucky. Just came off the beam moments ago and got a 9.75. You have to put up another big performance here on the floor for the Gym Cats.
Molly's a big gun on the floor. This is her event. She loves it. She's dynamic on that vault and tumbling. You're going to see her opening pass here. Double tuck. Now she can enjoy her dance here. Sell it to the judges. The twisting switch leap combination, difficult. Some people wonder how the gymnasts train for this. They do back-to-back routines to build their endurance and their conditioning. Sometimes with the tumbling, sometimes without, but doing multiple routines so they can build that aerobic conditioning and stay strong for that last pass, which is coming up here with Molly. All right, here we go. Let's see if she's got a strong finish here. Last tumbling pass, double pike. The double pike's more difficult than the double tuck she opened with, so she finished with a more difficult routine. The judges like that.
It's one top-notch performance after another here from the beam to the floor. Georgia versus Kentucky really doing a great job on this face-off.
Here's the double tuck she opened with, and then I believe we'll see the double pike here at the end. Again, more difficult. The judges will reward that, ending with a more difficult. Just a little bit short on that landing at the end. It won't be, it's not a major mistake.
The closer here on the beam for the Gym Dogs will be Sabrina Vega. Got a 9.85 on the floor. She has the same average on the beam.
Sabrina is very good on a beam. Beautiful switch leap mount. Taking a risk there, but she stuck it. Switch ring leap, beautiful. Again, a bonus skill because the head's back. Blind landing. Getting ready for her flight series. Back handspring layout. She got a little Michael Jackson going here. The required full turn. It's not as easy as it looks.
Trust me, it doesn't look easy from this angle.
I've seen some athletes do great routines and then have this little full turn that's required and they fall. So that's probably why the judges make them do it. You can lose concentration and be off in an instant. Sabrina has big leaps, a lot of height on her jumps. The judges really look for, you know, that lift of the leap series, that it really comes off the beam, that the hips rise. Side aerial to the full dismount. Nice routine for Sabrina. Coach Carter is happy with that.
So after a tough start for Georgia on the beam, they finished very strong with their last four.
Back handspring layout, beautifully done. Side aerial to the full dismount. Nice routine for the Gym Dogs.
And we'll finish it up with Kentucky's Sydney Dukes on the floor. And she is maybe the best from Kentucky on the floor. 8 event wins on the floor in her career. A 9.925 against Florida earlier this season. It's a big chance right here for her to put out another great performance the Gym Cats needed.
Well, Sydney's a great example of how to sell your floor routine, how to have a presence. She's always smiling, looks great out there. Opening pass, double pike, beautifully done. Now watch her sell this routine. There's her combination. That is one of the most beautiful ring leaps, almost perfectly done. Split, head fully back to the touch of the toe. That's why it has difficulty, but almost picture perfect. In fact, I think it was picture perfect. Here's the second pass. Run full front layout. Nicely done. Sydney's one of those athletes you want on your team because she's always getting the other kids excited and pumped up and happy, and she's just full of excitement all the time. Love watching her. Last pass, double tuck. I think she's going to be happy with this routine.
That's a pretty impressive way to finish the fourth rotation.
Right. Let's look at that second pass again from Sydney.
Your final team scores will be announced.
Front full, front layout, perfectly done.
We'll be back here for the final scores. It's going to be a close one. We finished the third rotation, less than a point differential. The Gym Cats very solid on the floor, and the Gym Dogs a few mistakes on the beam. We're going to have to see the final score coming back here, Friday Night Heights on the SEC Network. With the post game from Memorial Coliseum, the meet is done between the Georgia Gym Dogs and the Kentucky Gym Cats. It was a tremendous meet between these two teams. Hello, everybody. I'm Clay Aples. Alongside me, Laura Little. A tremendous matchup. As you look back, Leah, at this performance, very tightly contested. Two great teams coming in here.
Right, we said it was going to be close. Unfortunately for both teams, beam was the difference tonight. You know, both teams making mistakes, had falls on beam, and unfortunately the Kentucky just could not catch up.
So Georgia comes out on top. We're going to look back at some of the highlights of this meet. Some incredible jobs. We'll start off on the ball. Lauren Johnson, what a great job she did.
Look at the height on that ball. Perfectly done, stuck dismount. So we knew that early on. Great ball.
Here's Marissa Oakley on the bars.
We talked about Marissa in the meet. You know, her execution, her handstands, the height of her release moves and her dismount. Just a beautiful ball routine.
As we go to the beam, it was a tie between Phoebe Bobolis and Alex Highland.
Alex, your defending SEC beam champion, turned it on, put up a great performance tonight for the Cats. Georgia's athlete as well, putting on a great performance, no mistakes. Judges rewarded her. Here's the dismount, stuck.
As we head down to the floor, it was Sydney Sneed who just kept up her incredible performances onto the floor.
We just talked about her again, just her execution, beautiful dance lines, a very nice athlete on this event. Just beautiful height on everything.
And what a great meet it was between Georgia and Kentucky. As we look back at the final scores, Kentucky falling just short. Georgia with the 196.15 score. Kentucky with the 195.550. Very tightly contested, but a great meet from Memorial Coliseum for Leah Little. I'm Clay Ables. Georgia coming out on top over Kentucky. Thank you for tuning in to Friday Night Heights on the SEC Network.